All right, it's 7:30. It looks like we have a quorum. We'll have Alan's the first alternate in. He'll be the first voting member, and Scott Dale is the second one. And welcome to being active participants. Let's call the meeting to order. The first order of business. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep, sounds
Very
good.
good. It's my second hosted meeting. I'm standing in for John, who is hopefully finishing a round of golf in beautiful, warm, sunny Florida. And he asked me to stand in for the meeting. I did pick up the package and reviewed everything. So the first order of business is to review minutes of the previous meeting. I didn't see anything. Does anyone else have any comments on the minutes?
No, I reviewed it, Bruce, and it's accurate. So thank you very much on my side.
All right, with that notwithstanding, any other comments? Can I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of February 18th, 2021.
Thank you, Alan. Second?
That's it.
Sure.
I'll second.
Who was that?
I second.
Linda. Linda seconds. Motion carries.
I don't know.
There we go. Couldn't hear you. I apologize. Thank you all. Moving along, we have no old business. Our new business, we have a potential lot line revision, 717581 Clearview Drive, PL-21-2. The Matt, take yourself off mute and introduce yourself.
Hello, how's everybody?
Hi,
Good,
Matt.
thank
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I did review your correspondence and the correspondence provided by our lawyer, Tom Beecher. Could you, for the committee, review briefly? I know it's, I've only been on the board 4 years. I don't know. I think Linda's the longest tenured person in attendance today. And I think, what are you, Linda? Almost 10 years?
Yes.
So I don't know how many people are familiar. This goes back to 58 with the lot line revision, and if I'm correct, 2006, 2007 timeframe. But just for the edification, Matt, can you review what you're proposing and kind of how we got here?
So me and my sister bought those 3 lots. We've been working with Mike Mazuka. We're each trying to build a house on each of those 2 lots. So pretty much, I mean, I can't say I'm like too informed. I'm kind of just being like told what to do, I guess.
Sure, understood.
So I had brought that. I had Paul Hyro make the lot line revisions that Mike was looking for me to make to be able to fit the 2 houses on there and put a septics in there. And then he kind of did that up, and then I submitted that to the town hall.
Yeah, and you are aware that the planning commission's scope of authority is merely to rule on, the suitability of subdivisions and lot line revisions, that you'll still need to go through the proper town boards, and you do have, because this is a lot line revision, you will be subject to the impact of the current regulations surrounding an R8 zoning rule, which is again out of the scope of the planning commission. But I just want to make sure you're aware that there could be potential implications, and they're certainly beyond the scope of this board to deal with. But there may be implications of current zoning regs and rules that may be impacted by this lot line modification.
Okay.
And again, that's beyond our scope, but I just wanted to, make sure you're clear on that there could be other ramifications aside from simply redrawing. And, I think, has everybody received the packet and read, does the board have questions of Matt?
Yes.
Chairman, Bruce, I'm sorry. Can I please just have Matt's last name for the record?
Sure.
Costella, Costella.
Matt, if you would, this is Vice Chairman Bruce McDonald. If you would enable your video so we could see you, and if there's anything to be shown, that if there are questions, thank you, sir. If there are any questions, has everybody received both the proposal, the internal correspondence from our attorney Tom Beecher, and there's 1 or 2 cut sheets relating to where the proposed lot lines were changed, including the totals from my perspective, materially, this revision does not change the size of any of the lots from a square footage perspective. But is everybody had that packet and had a chance to review it? Or do
Yes.
we need Matt to
Yeah.
spend some time articulating the impact of the change?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, have.
Yes,
Mhm.
I'm familiar with that road.
Go ahead, Matt. I apologize for cutting you off. Matt, do you have anything else to add to the proposal?
No, unless you guys have any questions for me.
Okay, fair, very good, thank you. Questions from the board, from board members?
I know this is out of the scope of what we do, but I just wondered, in terms of the sewer expansion, you've had input from the other parties for connecting the lot up to the existing septic or not? What's the situation?
Is that for me? That
Yes.
question? There is no septic there.
Well, just to be
Yes,
clear, this is
sure.
again, just to be clear, the attached plot plans show both the proposed lot line revisions and the impact on square footage of each lot. Also indicated is the proposed location of the septic fields. And now, just to amplify your point, again, I don't pretend to be an expert on this, but if you're familiar with Candlewood Shores, there are lots of, I think they're 1/20th of an acre lots, and superimposed over the proposed, ABCD lots are the original cottage-sized micro lots.
Right.
I think if anything, migrating into what appears to be between, some 16,000 square feet and about 28,000 square foot lots are essentially well, I should take a step back. In the 2006-7 revision, they had combined, 2 or 3 individual original size lots into larger lots to begin with. So now we're talking about your more traditional, not that it's perfect for for septic type systems anyway, but they clearly do articulate on the proposed lot revision lines, additionally the location of where the septic fields would be and perk tests that have been done historically to provide, viability indications as to whether they're, in terms of the sizing of the fields, et cetera. So I think it's less of an issue than it would have been trying to put, small houses on the postage size lots. So, from my perspective, again, having spent about 2 hours reviewing it, clearly it seems to make sense what they originally did and what they're proposing to do in terms of making more modern or traditional size lots that would more easily, accept,
Stay up here.
public water with an individual septic solution. Would that make sense? Matt, I'm speaking.
It does.
Yeah, and Mike, for 2 of the lots, kind of already did the work with regards to like what type of septic systems it would be and
The
the soil
engineering.
for that.
The
Yeah, he
engineering,
kinda-
and the percolation tests evidencing the soil's ability to perform acceptably given the proposed size of the homes.
Right.
Yeah, again, it sounds pretty straightforward, and again, a lot of this is, beyond any of the people on the current board, so I don't know that we can amplify anything more than we've already talked about. If the members of the board have no problem, can we entertain a motion?
Just a question, there's no impact on the neighbors in the street nearby that's parallel? Skyline or any of the others?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
What's the exact question?
I know the shores and the houses you've got neighbors to the back of you, no potential impact to any of those neighbors.
In what do you mean? Like what sense?
In any
Anything that I'm looking to do with regards to the lot line is going to impact any of their lots?
Yeah, in any way.
No, I'm
Scott,
not.
because
trying
this-
to-
Yeah, let me provide some color commentary. Scott, because this is a lot redraw, if you will, it is not a subdivision, so some of the things that you've probably seen in your tenure on the board, Somebody's screaming. Where, you've heard about us requiring folks to send out things like postcards to abutting
Mhm.
property owners. That doesn't come into play because it's already been accepted as a subdivision. It's noted in our regs as a lot line redraw.
That's
So
true.
some of the things you might have seen in your short
Yes.
tenure on a board don't necessarily come into play. Again, once it gets, they will have to go through zoning, wetlands and some of the other, boards to validate that they can go ahead and start construction. But from our scope, this is nothing, and given the fact that it doesn't materially affect the size of the total lots, or number thereof, some of the regs that we might ask to be followed don't necessarily come into play. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yep, makes sense. Just one of those questions I felt better
Oh,
asking.
no, there's no bad questions, right? And, again, this is, an old item that we're all kind of walking through. But, in the scope of what he's asking us to do, it sounds straightforward and, clearly within the scope of the planning commission to approve.
Just to add a little bit to Scott's question, as far as stormwater management, et cetera, that's very closely looked at by zoning and by, in this case, it wouldn't be wetlands, but zoning asks for an engineered stormwater plan to make sure that none of the water from that property is going on to anybody else's.
Right.
Very good. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Does someone want to enter a motion?
Pleased to do so. This is to accept the lot line revision to property 71, 75, 81 Clearview Drive, PL 21-2 lot line revision, and propose that it's accepted.
Motion accepted. Do we have a second?
I'll second. No one else.
Thank you, Linda. Matt, you have your lot line revision with the stipulations I alluded to.
Okay, great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
You're very welcome.
All right, moving on to correspondence, we have a zoning board special meeting minutes from February the 9th. I noted in my review nothing essentially important to this board. Any questions on a ZBA minutes?
No.
All right, hearing no concerns, moving on. Second minutes we have was with the regular zoning meeting of February 11th. Again, I noted nothing really pertaining to this board's interest. Any questions or concerns about the zoning meeting minutes of 2/11?
Nothing that I saw as well.
All right, moving on to item 6, informal discussion. I just wanted to take this time to do a brief sidebar and recognize the two impacts to our family of planning commission members and support folks. Jean experienced a health emergency with a member of her family, and Mel Boutro lost his brother-in-law. If people haven't seen that, their recent occurrences this week, I just wanted to take a minute of silence or a moment of silence to recognize and send our prayers and thoughts out to both families at this horrible time. And Jean, I'm surprised you're even here. You should be with Mom. But our thoughts and prayers go out to both families.
Can't be with Mom. She's in the hospital. She had a stroke Tuesday night, was in ICU, moved to a regular room today, and we were just told she's being discharged tomorrow. We don't know
Wow.
what we're gonna do.
Wonderful, congratulations. That sounds
bless
really
her.
good, Jean, because with older folks, you never know with a stroke.
She's not ready. She's not ready. She can barely walk and talk. So the hospital is booting her out. I don't get it. Anyway,
That sounds real good news. And
thank
if
you for your concern.
Dean, I have to say, I totally get it. There's no way that the hospital should be able to do so. And unless you actually, unless you go to them and say, no, we can't, we don't agree, in which case it takes, believe me, the system is broken when it comes
Right,
to the elderly. like
Let's
that.
hear it for a public health initiative.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. And to our friend Mel and his loss of his brother-in-law.
Anyway, Gene, best regards and hope everything is okay.
Thanks.
All right, moving along, tabled items. There's been no progress on the sewer expansion in Candlewood Shores. Linda, it's your turn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion
All right.
carries. Everybody have a great evening. and
Thank you.
enjoy,
Nice job. Bruce.
Enjoying the upcoming holidays.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you,
Bruce.
you too,
I
everybody.
look forward to John's return so I can relax.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you did.
Have a good evening.
Good job.